Okay, example 9 says to prove that secant squared times cosecant squared is equal to secant squared of x plus cosecant squared of x. So which side do we want to work? Well, it really doesn't matter on this one. I think they're both about equally the same. But let's try working the right side since it's got that plus sign in it. So what do we know about secant squared of x? Well, there's different routes we can go when they're squared. We can use the reciprocal functions, or we could possibly use an identity. But secant squared of x and cosecant squared of x I don't think are going to give me a whole lot as far as the identities go. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make them fractions and then combine them. So secant squared of x is what? 1 over, turn my pen back on, sorry. 1 over cosine squared of x plus cosecant squared of x is 1 over sine squared of x. So we're going to multiply the second fraction by the first one's denominator, top and bottom of course, and the first fraction by the second one's denominator, top and bottom of course. And so we get sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x all over the common denominator, cosine squared of x times sine squared of x. Well, okay, since we know that secant and cosecant are reciprocal functions, that's good because I'm looking at what I need here, and so that means I would need a sine and cosine on bottom, which I have. But what can I do in the denominator? Trig function squared again. I'm thinking Pythagorean identities. Do we know anything about sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x? Yes, it's one of those main three Pythagorean identity ones that we had. It's equal to 1. So we got 1 over cosine squared of x times sine squared of x. And then because these are being multiplied in the denominator, we can split it up. This is the same thing as 1 over cosine squared of x times 1 over sine squared of x, because just think about this for a minute. If we multiplied, would we get what we just had? We would. And so what do we know about 1 over cosine squared of x? It's secant squared of x. And 1 over sine squared of x is cosecant squared of x. And that is exactly what we were looking for. So we have proven that it is true. So it has been demonstrated.